Hi, I'm Doug Van Eden. I'm the Level 1 professor at Kaplan Schweser, have been for a little over 15 years now. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the postponement of the June CFA exams. We're going to look at what the CFA Institute has told us so far. I'd like to go over the accommodations that Schweser has made to adjust to the postponement, and I've got some suggestions about your study plan given this extra time before the exam. The CFA Institute, well, of course, they've told us that all the exams, all the June exams at level 1, 2, and 3 have been postponed. Now, they're targeting a December date for this. It's not written in stone at this point, but that's their target. And they've also said they'll grant some extensions into a 2021 exam date for those of whom the December date just doesn't work. And they've also promised to have more details about this by May 8th. And you can keep yourself updated with any announcements they do make at cfainstitute.org. Now here at Schweser, as you probably know, we've canceled all our in-person classes, and this includes our review classes over April and May. Now our online classes, on the other hand, we're staying right on schedule for those students that want to keep moving and not lose their momentum in their studies. If you're registered for the regularly scheduled December exam at level 1, our classes, our early start classes, have started this week. Then we have another set of classes, live online classes, that start in July. For our current candidates, we've extended your online access for all your study materials through the exam date. So you'll still have your records of your Q bank and what questions you've answered and which ones you missed and which ones you haven't. You'll know where you are in your preparation through our activity feed, the videos, the on-demand classes, the recordings of our live classes. They'll all be available to you. We hope to reschedule live review seminars in the early October to mid-November time frame. Now, whether we can do this or not remains to be seen. But in any event, we're beefing up our online review course. We're going to expand those and to about the equivalent of a 5-day review seminar. And we'll be presenting those, making them available early to mid-October. And we're also going to accommodate any candidates who do decide to defer their exam from June into 2021. And so we'll extend your access as well. And shortly you'll be able to go into your dashboard and extend your target exam date from June to December. So it'll space out those activities over a new and longer period. Here I've got a timeline and some suggestions of how I think you can best use this time and best improve the likelihood that you'll pass the level 1 exam when it's given. Now this is based on a December date. We don't know that for sure, but I think the principles are the same in any event. Take a look over the left-hand side at April there. Just continue on. Complete your online classes, complete your study of the Schweser notes, and stay right on target. Those classes end in late April, and so by about the first week of May, try to target completing that. Stay with that goal. Now, as we get into May, that's time for review of areas you feel you should go back to and doing a lot of questions from the Q bank. And this may direct you to some areas where you need some review and additional study. And don't forget about ethics. We don't cover ethics in our online classes, although there is video instruction available on those. And ethics is 15% of the exam. You need to read through the Standards of Practice Handbook, all the standards, all the guidance, and all the examples. This is readings 2 and 3 in the CFA curriculum, Book 1 or Volume 1. And you can also download the Standards of Practice Handbook for free at cfainstitute.org. So now we're targeting about the first week in June. You've finished your study, you've done some review, just really work to get exam ready as if the exam were going to be there. And then we can squeeze in, and I've squeezed it in right here, practice exam number 1. Take the first Schweser practice exam. Time yourself on it. 3 hours for the first half, take an hour and a half break, go back and do 3 hours again. This will give you an idea of what you'll be up against on exam day. But more importantly, it'll inform your activities and study over the next months, because you'll get a good idea of areas that you performed well in, which might surprise you, and areas where you didn't perform very well in, and that may surprise you as well. So now we've got this period from first week of June until the exam. Well, we're going to be presenting some topic reviews. We're going to do them about every 2 weeks. We're going to cover each topic, spread them out over this period. And those will consist of some instruction, talking about the important points in those topics, how they tie together, and just additional explanation to get you back up to speed. Then we'll be doing some problems in those classes, and then we'll have a question and answer period at the end of each one. Now, as far as your study over this period, this gives some structure to it, going through these topic areas. Certainly some you're going to devote more additional study to than others. So especially review your weaker areas. Use the Schweser notes. Go back to the Schweser notes. Use the video instruction. Okay? You can review the online classes too as well. But do lots of questions in the Schweser Q Bank. And make sure you've done the Schweser checkpoint exams. This exam is 3 topic-specific exams with the curriculum divided into thirds. And this is also a good opportunity to go back and do those CFA end of chapter questions in the curriculum books that you haven't done, and also those blue box examples. Now these questions, sometimes they're long, tedious calculations. They get kind of a little bit off the point here and there, but don't ignore them. Even if you're not going to work through all the long, tedious calculations, take a minute and say, well, how would I set this up? What would I do? What would I calculate? Don't just look at the answer explanation and go, oh, that makes sense. That's not the best learning. Wrestle with the questions in all cases. And as I say, even write down your answers in many cases, or how you would approach that answer to get the best benefit out of that activity. And Schweser link, your contact with us for answering any questions about the curriculum, will be here over that whole extended access period for you as well. Now as we move in to the first week of October, mid-October, well, that's when it'll be time to take either our live review course or our online review course. And that's where we do just questions, how to approach questions, how to do them faster, tips and tricks, words you should recognize, all that sort of stuff to get you exam ready. And then over this period, you'll be doing all the rest of the practice exams as well. And each time, getting feedback from looking at those you missed, or even those that you guessed at but got right. And then the Schweser mock exams. These are as close as we can make them to the exam difficulty, format, topic weights, coverage, everything. And there's 2 of those to give you coverage of a lot of different learning outcome statements in the topic areas. And lastly, right before the exam, go through the ethics one more time. It's 15% of the exam, there's no math in it, and every question you get will be based on that Standards of Practice handbook. So take this extra time, and by going back to these topics on this sort of schedule, rather than stopping now and saying, okay, I'll just cram in October and November, the learning scientists tell us that studying something and then going back to something, bouncing around between different topic areas, is absolutely the best way to improve your understanding, improve your retention, and improve your performance. So do your part. I know you've heard it from others, but stay safe. That's number one. And right up there, number 1.1 is try to keep others safe as well. We've got to do that, or the rest of this just is not going to matter that much at all. And the third point I want to make is let's increase the pass rate. Now there's some talk, conspiracy theory I think, that the CFA Institute sets a passing score so that the pass rate stays in the low to mid 40s. I don't believe that. I understand their processes of how they do things, have been involved in that years ago, and that's not the way they do it. And I don't believe that anyone who's ever written 70% paper on the exam has not passed the test. So take it as an opportunity. Use this extra study time. Go back to the areas you absolutely dislike, and maybe you'll end up liking them. But even so, if you still hate them, you'll be better prepared in those areas. So use this extra study time. Space it out. It's not going to be as intense with 6 extra months. But remember, the 3 reasons candidates give us for not passing the level 1 exam. The first one is, I started too late. Well, that one's not going to work this time with an extra 6 months of study. You've all started with plenty of time to get to that passing level. The second one is, I didn't spend enough time. People get tied up with work, they get tied up with families, and quite honestly, the motivation and discipline to study is sometimes lacking. Well, you've got plenty of time. There's a lot of activities you used to do. Okay? Right now, we're not out golfing. The bowling league's canceled. We're at home. There's plenty of time. So you've got an early start. You've got plenty of time. And the third reason we get from candidates that they didn't pass the exam is they didn't do enough questions and they didn't get through all the practice exams and mock exams prior to the exam date. Well, you can certainly do that too now. So be real ready by the beginning of October and then do those practice exams, do the associated review, do the mock exams, do the associated review, review ethics one more time. I sincerely believe that pass rate can jump up for this exam. So that's about all I have. We may be back when things change again another time. But for now, I hope that's helpful and answers a lot of your questions. Thanks.